Down close to the 11-yard line to get a Faulk. Break through a crease at the 10. 5, down to the goal line. Touchdown!
Most know the name Marshall Faulk because of what he did on the field.
Touchback at the 15, the 10, the 5, end zone.
NFL Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champ, one of the greatest running backs to ever do it. But what most people don't know is what he's doing off the field. Today, he's the co-founder of Virtuity, empowering thousands with financial education and entrepreneurial strategy, especially those who never got it growing up. In this episode, we talk grit, legacy, financial transformation, and what it really means to lead, not just in a huddle, but in life. From the NFL to CEO, from touchdowns to teaching others how to own their futures. Welcome to Coffeez.
Now, I got a lot of questions because, this show is really for entrepreneurs, and people think, well, like, why does Joe have a Hall of Famer on the show? It's like, guys,
people know me. They know me.
Marshall Faulk's not just an amazing athlete. Like Marshall Faulk, we all know because you had insanely high football IQ. That really is what allowed you to dominate at such a high level in comparison to all the other folks you were competing against. Do you think that football IQ translated over to the entrepreneurial world, and how so?
You know what? It did, and I want to make sure that people understand this. It did because I allowed it to, in the sense that everything that I walk into, I don't walk into it with this high IQ, like I know everything. I walk into it and I go on the ground level and I learn the basics just like everybody else. Then I have an opportunity for my IQ to really kick in. I always want to know anything that I'm involved in. I want to know the people walking in the door, entry level, that's working for me or working with me. I want to know what their experience is so I can help them and advance them, and not only use my IQ for me, but to help them grow as well. So it's not you have this high IQ, you come in at this level. I don't think you're doing anyone any justice when you come in at this level, because you can't explain to the people, who are coming in, pounding the pavement on the ground level, how to elevate. You can't tell them that if you didn't experience what they are experiencing.
Now, you've been, people don't know this, so I'm going to go through your entrepreneurial side. Number one, you're an entrepreneur now. You're the founder, CEO of Virtuity. You want to give folks a 20,000 foot overview of what you do?
I'm co-founder. There's a lady named Hannah Hornstein who's she birthed this thing, and then I came along and helped her kind of push it to where it is now. But what we do is we empower, enrich, and educate people on financial literacy and how to become an entrepreneur in the financial service space. So we don't really coin ourselves as financial advisors. We don't look at ourselves as that. We're financial educators. We work alongside of anybody. We don't care if it's a CPA. We don't care if it's a money manager. We don't care what you do in the financial service realm. We can show you another financial vertical for how you can generate more income doing whatever you do with the exact same clients. That's how we look at it.
And you guys are partnering with pretty much every financial company out there.
If you're a financial company, we want to partner with you and show you how to make more money.
So this is a question people are asking me. It's like, so, we know the physical toll that football puts on your body, but what mental or emotional challenges from playing those days do you still stick with you till this very day?
I just mentioned mentally the arduous task of, week in and week out, getting your body beat up, repaired, and then beat up again. And
sounds like the business world now.
It is in a sense. But there's a physical and mental. The business world, the physical, you do it to yourself by putting hours in, and the mental is what you get from it when things don't happen the way you want to happen. But in football, there's just wear and tear on your body and on your mind, and more mentally as you get older, because it's not like business. You can do business forever.
Yeah.
But in football, there's a small amount of time that you have, and you have to dedicate a lot of time to maximize that time so you can have the opportunity to be as great as you can, whatever that level is.
Let me ask you this, Marshall, because I'm fascinated by this. It's like, and I got two questions, but how what do you think really made you stand above and beyond everybody you played with? Like, what allowed you to be a dominant force on the field?
Just desire. I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest, but nobody was going to work harder than me. Um, I felt like nobody was in better condition than me. Most people, it was like, they wanted to go 4 quarters. I always wanted to go in overtime because I knew that I put more work in than most people. And in those times when most people are tired, that's when I'm gonna dominate you. That's when I know I have you. And you know, I just I desired it more than others.
I was having a conversation with my neighbor yesterday about you, and we were talking about like when was it that the world knew Marshall Faulk's name, and he said it was San Diego State
Yeah.
versus USC,
Yep.
and you guys were getting your San Diego State was getting pounded, and then you came back and just dominated. You just went wild.
Yeah.
30
Southern,
and the
Southern
score.
California football was all USC, UCLA.
Yeah.
And, I go to San Diego State and I'm having this stellar year. And we have USC on the calendar. And it's like, oh yeah, yeah, he's a pretty good football player, but we'll see when he plays USC. And, USC kind of jumped out to a 7-0 lead. And, we ran off like 3 touchdowns on them. And I had probably one of my best days. And it was like, hold up, wait. Like this kid can play football. It's not just some fluke. Good game, but you make your marks against well-known teams, and that was one of those games that lifted me to national stardom.
Yeah, that was the like. I mean, from what people are, from what's being said, all over, it's like that was the pivotal moment where it's
One
like,
of them.
like
One of them.
catapulted fame.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those games. It was, because what people thought of, my bad, what people think about when you think USC football.
Yeah.
And
Versus San Diego State. You could never imagine San Diego State versus USC now.
exactly.
Like that's
mean,
not even a.
But when you watch that game and you watched us play, it looked like, wow, that this looks like a fair game. Like this, and people were surprised to see us competing in this game.
Yeah. And why did San Diego State play SC? How did that even happen?
They took the game. It's like you played certain teams, and that was scheduled before I got there. And luckily I came and it happened. But it was one of those games nationally that that helped to elevate the college career.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, can you think of like a defining moment in your NFL career, like something that really was like transformational?
I wouldn't say one particular game. It was just being consistent. There's guys that come in and they might have a good season and they might maybe have a couple of good games, but for throughout my career, I was a guy that was going to post anywhere around 150 to 200 scrimmage yards. I was going to score a touchdown or 2 or 3 per game, and I was consistent. I was somebody that you could count on. I remember my high school coach used to always say the best ability in the world is availability. And making sure that you're in the game, you was where you're supposed to be. Alignment and assignment was something that I always wanted to be known for.
Now, you get done with your career. You're now inducted to the Hall of Fame. You don't got to grind anymore. What the heck inspired you to be an entrepreneur right after that?
Yeah,
to get right back to it.
I'm a business major, and I love business, and I was bored. Like you think retirement is like right off into the sunset. Joe, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Any person that's successful at anything will continue to find things to become successful at. Anything to challenge you, anything to push me, and getting into different businesses and stuff like that. It pushed me. But when I got into financial services and I realized how many people are financially illiterate, I was like, wow, this is unbelievable.
It is.
And I'm gonna be honest. The number one thing that I found out, although I was in business, I was successful, made a lot of money in my career, took care of that money. I was like, I'm one of those people. I'm not as smart about about money, and my relationship with money wasn't where I liked it to be. So it just made sense for me. If you're going to develop something, why not develop yourself in it and then bring people along?
Yeah, and that's something I'd mentioned to you, and that's something that we're working on. We had that meeting with Dan Fleischman, and I was like, we really want to help, athletes,
It's
celebrities,
just people, man. It's
musicians.
so many
They're
people.
though that group that makes so much money, where they're in the middle of showtime, and that show's gonna end,
Yep.
and that money's gonna stop raining in, and so they don't blow their money in that window, because you didn't blow your money, thank God. Most players, it's statistically proved, I think, what is it, like 90% of NFL players?
They don't blow it. Somebody help them blow it. You can't blow it all by yourself. There's some bodies to help you blow it.
Yeah, but most of them end up broke.
Yeah.
And if they started with like immediately with a property that they own, as soon as they get that money, they get that paycheck from the NFL, they go buy an investment property. Now they're a landlord. Now there's a level of accountability. They're not gonna be partying at night. They got their tenant's gonna call them with the busted toilet. They got to
Yeah.
take the call.
Yeah.
That sort of grounding that they need, so that they can keep focused on the prize, which is like, hey, when this show ends, I got properties, etc. So we're just trying to, and with your help, and I don't know how much you work with the NFL with financial literacy, but
We're scratching the surface right now. We want not, and I'm very basic with these guys. We want to show you how to make your money work. Like, we know how to spend it, we know how to make it. How do you make it work for you? And that's whether it's buying property, whether it's being smarter and asking the proper questions and knowing how to be a part of the conversations when your monies are being invested, like knowing how to be a part of the instead of just sitting there, what's on the bottom line. Okay, cool. You need to know how to read what's in between the lines as well.
So you're starting to scratch the surface, working through different are any programs right now available for NFL athletes that you're a part of?
We're talking to them. We're starting with their assets. We're having conversations with them about the things that they're doing, because I'm in this business. We're all still learning. There's so much to learn about, and I want to know from guys, what are you doing? Because best practice, I want to take it to other people. I want to share in the information. When we start sharing and collaborating, then we as athletes, we have a better chance at retaining our money.
So one thing we're working on now, and what I'm doing it for different YouTubers, different celebrity athletes, is we're helping them acquire multifamily properties where they don't need tax returns, because these young, like, have a YouTuber, he's 19 years old, he's making, 100 grand a month or whatever, but he just turned 19, doesn't have credit, doesn't have like,
right,
tax returns. He just got, but he's got money, right? So what we can do is we got like these no doc programs that are basically, you just use the rental incomes to qualify, and that's what all athletes, celebrities, like, can acquire immediately.
Early start.
Immediately.
And that's you're showing them how to make their money work.
Immediately. Yeah. So rappers, whatever it is.
Remember, anybody that's coming into money, that want to learn more, want to do more. And it's not that they need the income right now, but down the road, that's going to be a good asset that's providing them passive residual income.
What I think about that's more important for these guys is it helps them stay grounded during the journey,
sometimes
of celebrityhood.
Sometimes.
I mean, it's more like it's another tool in the tool chest, like to mitigate the damage of celebrityhood.
Yeah, to a degree, man. And I'm gonna say to the person that decides that they actually want to get involved. Putting money in is one thing, being involved is another thing. Actually learning about it is a whole nother, because there's a lot of people that's like, you tell them about a deal, it's like, okay, here's the money, talk to my guy.
Yeah, they're like clueless. That's how most athletes are that you're seeing, huh?
That's how most people whom are making money and they don't want to do non-income producing activity. They want to stay in their realm of making money. They don't want to focus on that other stuff. And hopefully, and we have those conversations about having the right kind of people around you.
Yeah. Yeah. What age, what point did you start to become financially illiterate and start to take, your monetary aspect of your game
You
serious?
know, the minute you get that first check, it's like, wow. And then you go meet this uncle who you've never had. Uncle Sam. It's like, Uncle Sam's not my uncle. That's the first lesson when you learn. Hold on, wait. I got all this money. I have no write-offs. I got to pay 40 what percent in tax? What? That's the first lesson. That's the first lesson you learn. And
Yeah.
then from there, it's about how much can I save? And how much can I live off? How little can I live off, but still live a happy life? Because this career that I have, it's short, and I can't make money throughout my whole lifetime that I'm going to make playing. So once you figure that out, and I figured that out right around 23, 24.
You were drafted what age?
21.
Okay. So you had 2 years where you were just like,
just having fun.
Yeah.
Just having fun. And then I figured it out, and I was like, okay, cool. There's a different game. The game is how much can I save?
Yeah.
It's not how much you make, it's how much can you save?
I mean, and that takes years of wisdom. I mean, it took you a couple slaps from Uncle Sam, and then boom.
Some people never figure it out.
How many seasons total were you in the
13.
NFL? 13. I mean, that's a long career, Marshall.
For the position I played, it's
13
long.
years of. I mean, that's the hardest position to play.
One of them.
Yeah. What do you think's the hardest, other than?
I mean, linebackers is a pretty tough one too. You're like, at least I get paid to make people miss. As a linebacker, you're doing the same thing I'm doing, but you get paid to hit people.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You only got hit half the time. Not even that, probably.
I'm trying to not get hit at all.
Now, what sort of challenges do you think you faced when you started your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, the first one was, humility, being humble and telling people what you don't know. It's like, we're supposed to know, but if I literally tell you, I don't know, Joe, then you're going to start me off from the ABCs. If not, you're going to assume that I do, and I'm gonna miss a bunch of stuff. And for us, we're revered. People look up to us, they cheer for us, and they think that we have the business acumen to take things on at times that we're not ready. And I am one of the, I'm gonna say one of the few people that I'm gonna look you in your face. You're talking about me. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like we gotta. I'll tell you what I don't know, because I want to be in the know. That's the only way I can learn. If you know that I don't know, then guess what? Then you're going to teach me. If you assume that I know, you're just having a conversation with me.
And for you, because you walk through here, everyone has such great reverence for you, and it's like, for you to tell people you don't know, it's like, you don't know more. Like, I'm just, I love telling people I don't know me. You're like, you're the CEO. You're like, no, I'm just like the glorified sales guy here. I don't know.
Hey, the reality is, if I tell you I don't know, I'll spend less time in the unknown. Like, if I tell you I don't know, you're going to then make sure that I know. It's the fastest way to learn.
Yeah, and I think that's a great lesson for people to hear now, because to hear a Hall of Famer, when he says that, and then just humble yourself, like, that's the fastest.
Hey man, listen, Hall of Famer or not, if you want to learn something, tell people you don't know, and hopefully they'll teach you the right way if you trust that person.
Love that. Great advice. Now, one thing I like to talk about on the show is grit. Now, you got insane grit. I mean, one of the hardest working people to ever play the game. You finished. Now here you are, started a company, and you're crushing the business world. So your grit is just incredible. How did you instill, or how do you instill that same level of grit in your children?
That's a tough task. It's it's one of the struggles in life, and in raising them still, and you're always trying to give your kids more than what you had, and in giving them more than what you had, you start to realize that part of what you had made you who you
adversity.
are.
Yeah.
That adversity, my kids, they don't have adversity. Like they've never not eaten a meal that they wanted. They've never gone without. They've there's very few things in life that they want. But grit isn't just adversity. Grit, as I said, greatness reached in teamwork. Grit is learning how to work with people regardless if you like them or not. Grit is learning how to get things done regardless if you want to do it or not. Grit is putting forth the effort, not just when you want to do it, but when you don't want to do it. They don't need adversity to do those things. They just need to do them when they come about in their lives. Dad, I don't feel like doing it. That's why you need to do it. Literally. Like the minute that they don't feel like doing it, I'm like, that's why we're doing it today.
I'm hoping my son just heard that in the washroom next door because that's what life's about.
It's
right?
so important, man. You have to push your kids out of their comfort zone when you come from, like, I'm raising my kid is growing up, and they're inheriting that, they're growing up in wealth. It's the first generation of my family growing up with wealth. So there's some things in life that they need to understand. And I need to make sure that they have to understand how to take on the challenges in life, even if they're growing up without them. Let's create some. Let's make up some.
I mean, they're seeing dad grinding every day, probably 5, 6 in the morning.
That's all they know from me. Like, this is what they see from me is just my life. Like, oh, that's dad. That's all they see.
He's been doing that since we were born.
That's all they know. But now, my kids are a little older, and they're in the work world, and I'm like, figure it out. Like, don't call. I want you to figure it out. Try to figure it out first. I'm teaching them how to problem solve. I don't want to be their problem solver.
And like with kids like who grew up in like with a celebrity parent, like how was that? What sort of challenges did they face having the Faulk name?
So I don't know. I have no idea. And I feel for them at times because when we go places, they have to deal with people wanting a piece of their dad, and
I mean, you were like just stormed here. This is a workplace. I can't imagine in public.
Like, just getting people to understand, if I'm doing a date night with my daughter, and it's just about her, and I don't want to be bothered, hoping that someone don't take it personal, that I asked them, hey, I don't want to be bothered. I want to spend time with my daughter. For whatever the reason is, it's a birthday, it's a special day.
Yeah.
It's just her and I. And she's like, nothing's pulling my dad away.
And then a bunch of people coming up to you. Can I get a photo?
Right. Sometimes you got to be the bad guy to make sure that you can give that one-on-one time and be the person that you want to be and need to be to your loved ones.
And that's good you've been able to define. And I wonder, like, if I were to ask your kids, like, what bothered you about celebrityhood for your, growing up with a celebrity?
Jeremy. They would tell you, Jeremy, in becoming who I became, the sacrifice of time and all of that stuff. You know what? One of the things that I heard, the big thing of, LeBron and Bronny playing with each other. LeBron said something. He was like, man, this moment is so special for me because this game has taken so much of my time, and I've missed so much of my kids' important days. And then now we got 80-something games I get to spend with Bronny and be with him playing this game for him to see, what goes into it. He's like, I mean, the man upstairs could not have put it any better for me. I'm so blessed. Think about that.
Yeah. I mean, I was at, and it's so amazing, Bronny and LeBron playing together. And I think about that. And I'm in a basketball league, and there was a dad and son playing last week, and I'm like, that is so cool that you're playing with your dad. Like,
Yeah.
that was just like a men's league,
Like a professional game, like
but a
him and his
professional.
son
That's just
getting a chance to
unbelievable.
play. And this game that now, this game in the past that took him away from his family is now giving him an opportunity to play with his son. We've had a bunch of father-son duels. First time we got to witness this. The two of them play together.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
first time in history.
Yeah,
it might be one of the last. I mean,
Yeah.
something like that is like.
Now, I doubt it'll never happen in football.
It will never happen in football, no.
Never.
But I don't know how it happened in basketball. He just happened to have kids really young,
He's
like
been blessed, man.
18 years
Take
old.
care of his body. That, but also, took care of his body and then did some things right to where his kid excelled enough in his shadows to be good enough to make it to the NBA and be one of the 450 players.
That's
It's
amazing.
just a lot there, man.
There is. It is a lot there. And he did it, he's a small guy. He's not a big guy. He's not like dad. He's 6'2", he's just an average sized guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really good. And I'm impressed with what he's doing so far.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not LeBron, but but he's doing great. Now let me ask you this: is there a specific like mindset that you have to have, one, to succeed in the NFL, and two, to succeed as an entrepreneur?
So first in the NFL, there's several mindsets. There's the I made it to the NFL mindset. I'm good in the NFL mindset. I want to be great in NFL mindset, or I want to be one of the greatest to ever play in NFL mindset. And I think in business, there's the same thing, and people along the way accomplish things. And in those things that they accomplish, they either settle or they continue to want more. LeBron continues to want more. Michael Jordan continued to want more. Tom Brady continued to want more. I was a continue to want more guy. It was like whatever I did, that was just scratching the surface. It's what more can I do? As you said it, I should have rolled off into the sunset. But instead, I was like, hold on, wait. There's business. Let me take this on. There's television. Let me take that on. And that mindset is the mindset that builds not just winners, but help winners build winners as well.
I never heard it compartmentalized as a mindset like that, and that is just the greatness mindset is that just never enough mindset.
Never enough.
Never enough. And that explains you in a nutshell. That explains Jordan in a nutshell. That explains
never
LeBron.
Enough.
And even,
Tiger Woods, never enough.
With our company, people are like, your company's already so big, like biggest account, like we're just starting. Like we're really just getting started.
What are they comparing it to?
Yeah. We're just exactly. Well, to everybody else. Exactly. Like
so who does that?
Yeah. Yeah. And when I tell people like we're really just getting the party started, like
right.
Like
when you start looking at is it let's say is it as big as Amazon?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
You say that, well, shit, that's how big I want it to be.
Yeah.
You start finding you start finding things to chase.
Yeah. And it's just fun. We love what we do, but I love the win too. I love, the entrepreneur game is this. It's the same like sports. That's why we have such great sports leaders as the biggest entrepreneurs now. Like, I'll give you an example. The guy who bought the Phoenix Suns, mentor of mine. He was also on the show here as well. And he owns United Wholesale Mortgage. He owns the Phoenix Suns, and he's a never enough guy. Everything he talks about is just dominate. We're just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
It takes what it takes to win. You just doesn't matter. That sort of mindset that he's instilled in me, instilled in so many people in the broker community. But it's a sports mindset. A little 5'9" guy won an NCAA championship with Michigan State around the same time.
Yeah,
you did. So
yeah.
It's
I know we like to call it a sports mentality, but I have to give due to where it comes from. It's actually military. It's our armed services. Their mindset is the mindset that we all try to adapt in sports. All of their analogies and what they do and how they perform, because we're just playing sports. They're dealing in life and death, protecting and serving, and that's the everything. Most of the cliches and the things that we do when we're talking about team bonding, building, success, winning, it comes from our armed services, our military.
Yeah, you're absolutely
When
right.
you really start to break it down, when people started to use it in sports, the metaphors, it means something like, when I'm a soldier, I'm a warrior. Well, we're playing games now. Let's just these boys, this is real life over here. Like, we're playing, like, tonight, when the clock strikes zeros, somebody's going home a winner and loser. The real people, like, somebody's dying.
Yeah.
Some
you're right.
people might not make it home. So I always want to acknowledge the truth and where all of the stuff comes from that we use. When you hear a lot of the teams that win and what they talk about when players are talking, that comes from our armed forces and what they use, a lot of their decree and a lot of the things that they stand by and a lot of their mantras.
I was just going to literally ask you right now, is there a mantra that you live by?
Not one in particular, but my high school coach told this to me, and I was like, wow. And it sticks in my head. If you travel down the road with no speed bumps, you're headed for a dead end. And, like, that just reminds me that life there's things that's going to be coming at you.
Follow it up with my next question. What's your favorite quote?
Oh, there's so many quotes, man. I'm like,
Speed bump one's a good one.
I don't really have a favorite quote. Like, I love quotes in general. And when I hear them, I try to put myself in the position, and
Is there a famous Marshall Faulk one?
Probably, I always tell people, don't be afraid of success. So many people get in the way. They start changing things and doing things as they become successful to create roadblocks for themselves. Like, you're on the path to being successful, and you mess it up because you're afraid. You're afraid of. A lot of people don't want to be great because there's a lot of expectations that come with being great.
What when you achieved greatness, like you argue this could be argued, but you're documented as one of the best running backs to play the game. That comes with a lot of pressure, comes with a lot of societal expectations. How has that impacted you at a personal level?
So here's the funny part. At the time I was doing it, there wasn't any pressure. And now, looking back on it, there's no pressure because there's nothing I can do about my resume. The pressure was getting drafted, being given a lot of money, and being asked to do something. And the questions were, can he do it? And the question I never had was, can I do it? I knew I could do it. Like, that part, like those words, I knew I could do it. That confidence is something that you got to have. Like, you don't walk into that locker room without that confidence. So there's no pressure. Pressure is, hey, can you lead other men? That's pressure. But can I get it done? That's easy. I know I'm confident in my ability. The pressure is, can I get other people to believe in themselves? Can I lead other men? Am I the leader of men? That's the pressure.
Now, circling back, looking back at your 21-year-old self, knowing that you can't do nothing about anything now,
Right.
what advice would you give your 21-year-old self?
Probably the number one thing was I wasn't patient with myself. Like I wanted to be who I was 5 years later then. And you can't without the experience. I don't care how many people you ask. I don't care how much tape you watch. I don't care all the things that you do. Going through it on a professional and personal level, on and off the field, you can't speed up time. And
5 years, even for a running back, might be past their whole career.
Could be, but you can't speed up the time, man. That's all you could do is be in the moments. And some of the moments, great moments, I weren't in them. I was thinking about what it was going to be. Man, just wait.
Now, a couple last questions for you. Is there, and this is a 3-pronged question, okay, about goals. What's a personal goal that you have for yourself, a goal that you have for your family, and then a goal that you have for your business, Virtuity?
So for my family, I'll start with them because they are the most important. I want all my kids to experience accomplishing one thing that they set out to do in their lives. Just accomplish one thing. There's so many people who don't hit one goal in life. And I want my kids to accomplish one thing. I don't care what it is.
But that's they've accomplished several goals, I'm sure, as kids, but like in the professional world.
I'm talking about when they become an adult. Like,
how old are your kids now?
Like, so I got 29. So I got 2 boys, 29, 27, and my girls are 25. She turned 25 yesterday. Let me get that right, because if she hears this, she'll be all on me. 21 and 17.
I got 5 kids.
Yeah. So for them, they're into goal setting. They're trying to get things accomplished. I want to open a business. I want to do this. I want him to accomplish that. I want him to see what it's like to set out a goal and accomplish it. As a kid, I was like, I want to play in the NFL. Accomplishing that goal, there's nothing like it. I want to buy my mom a house. Like accomplishing that goal. What that does to you and building your confidence and giving you the ability to believe in yourself, there's nothing like it. And I want them to have that. So many people who don't believe in self.
Yeah.
They set no goals because they don't think they can accomplish them. That's.
And then now what's leading into your next question? What's the personal goal you have for yourself?
Personal goal for me is I've experienced wealth, and there's nothing like it. Working in the professional world of sports, you work with, the alpha type, A type people. And now working in the entrepreneurial space, I'm working with people who have no goals. I want to take some regular people and I want them to experience wealth. I want to show them what that's like, what was done for me, the teaching, the mentoring. I want to do that for people and then help them experience their financial goals in life and get them there.
Awesome. And then what's a business goal for you guys?
For me, business wise, and I get this from Dave. I heard him say this and I was like, this is exactly what I want to do in business. I want to help a lot of people, make a lot of money, and have a lot of fun.
I love his saying when he says that.
That right there that's why I do business. If we help a lot of people and we make a lot of money, and then with those very same people have a lot of fun, there's nothing like it, bro.
It's such a wonderful community that Dave Meltzer's put together.
It is.
I
love being a part of his ecosystem.
It is. It's so awesome. So many great people we get to meet, and we're all service driven.
Yep.
We all just want to do God's work together. Which leads me to my last question. When you're in front of the pearly gates, what do you think God's going to tell you?
He is going to say, you know what? You did the best you could. You did the best you could.
All right, Marshall. So, Marshall, God bless you. God bless your family. I hope you hit every single one of your goals. I hope your kids hit every single one of their goals that you have put on their mind. You continue to instill that grit in them. Marshall Faulk, guys, legendary Hall of Famer, serial entrepreneur, absolute legend, an incredible human being. Thank you, Marshall, for being on the show. Coffeez for Closers.
Thanks, man.